Apparently, it's a great life in Mauritius.
They speak French.
I've never been there, so I can't comment.
I could change that for you with a hop, skip, and a credit card.
I prefer not to. I'm very happy in South Africa.
That's what I thought. Welcome to Smell My Podcast.
It should really be called the John and Sip Show. Show.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Jonny. Cool. I love you.
What I've seen when people come to me and they say, "Oh, how do I kind of budget better?" I think it's all rubbish. I think people, if you look at the whole pie, there's a small slither of that pie that you can actually cut, you know. Yes, people maybe can eat out a little bit less and you can...
Unless people are being blatantly reckless.
Yeah, blatantly reckless and there's negligent. Okay, let's just take that out. Most people aren't doing that.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, and this is quite brutal to say, but there isn't much fat to cut. And
in people's personal finances.
Yes, and the only thing you can do, which is very difficult what I'm going to say, but you have to make more money. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It's as simple as that. You have to make more money. And that's what, you know, people trying to side gigs. People come to me and they say, where must I cut? And then we look, you know, we go through their food expenditure. We look at their cosmetics. We look at all that stuff. And there's not much to cut there unless you take your kids out of school. I don't know. So you need to earn more, but people aren't earning more. And that's where debt comes into the picture. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse, the debt
But what about this thing of, like, you and I have always said, you have to be confident enough to rent a small flat as long as possible. Drive your same car into the ground. Like,
okay, but that's for people that are, if you're not in it already.
Right.
If you're in it already and you have a house already that you can't afford, you already have bought a big car too that you can't afford, that your kids are already in school. I'm saying you already are in it.
But then
it's not to make it worse.
Why can't those people downsize?
To what?
That's what I'm asking you.
Firstly, people are way too arrogant and...
That's where I'm going with this. Is it arrogance?
Yeah.
Or is it that they've gotten themselves into such a catch-22 that they've bonded this house, but they've taken a 30-year term? So actually what they're paying on the bond every month is actually equivalent to renting a much smaller flat. So because they've gotten themselves twisted into a financial pretzel, downscaling, downsizing, it's not going to help them.
It's just shifting paper, you know, because at the end of the day, like we do this exercise so often, you're paying a certain amount on your bond repayments and it would be there and thereabouts for a rental. And then you're saying, you know, most people, you'll justify anything. You'll justify why I know, but at least I own the property. And if
you don't, the bank does.
Yeah, fine, but then I'll own it in 20 years' time. It's an asset. And ostensibly a appreciating asset.
That's one hope. It's a justification.
You justify.
Because we don't know.
We don't know what?
I don't know what my house is going to be worth in 20 years' time. The whole neighborhood could go to the dogs and then the house is depreciating. So telling myself, appreciating asset, one hope.
Yeah, that I agree with.
So that's a bit of a lie that we're telling ourselves, or gamble. Car story is,
I don't know, that people just have this idea that they need a big car.
Safe car. Yeah. What about just like you and I have said this many times, you can drive your child in a Taz with no aircon, as we have both done for our entire marriage, and put them in a seatbelt or a car seat with the seatbelt and no ISOFIX, but don't text and drive. That makes them 100 billion times safer than an airbag.
Yeah, but I don't want to drive a Taz, like, you know.
I don't want to, but I'm just saying.
I'm saying that's what it comes down to. Like, I don't want to, or why should I?
Well, what if you can't afford it?
Then you go and you get debt. That is, if I can afford the repayment, then I might as well do it.
For my lifestyle.
For my lifestyle, yeah. For anything. For your house, for the refurb, for motor vehicle, for anything. And even a holiday, I can afford to repay the credit card. I mean, probably not, but you can justify that as well.
No, I'm using my whole bonus, so therefore the holiday's paid for, as opposed to I'm taking my bonus and investing it for the future.
Putting into the bond. But and then it's also, it's more, and this is like, again, what I see all the time is when there's all debt, repayment, this, and then you go to the school and you get a subsidy, and then it's just more, then you don't have to pay proper school fees as well. because I'm getting the school fees at whatever subsidy I'm getting.
So it's a bit of a system that enables debt,
Yeah,
actually.
it's a system that enables it. And yeah, we live in a society that's what one can do. You can get away with it.
And
You're actually rewarded for it. You're
That's
given a subsidy, you're given a discount because you have overspent in other areas. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people, genuine cases where people, they're not lavishly spending on this and that, and they can't afford school fees. I get that.
It's so genuine. These families are not going on holiday. They're not leasing cars. They're not paying off bonds. They are living well within their means, and but
that's not the majority. That's the
abomination.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying majority of people are taking advantage of the system because the system allows them to. And
I'm saying I don't actually know. Of course, there'll always be some who are consciously taking advantage of the system. Some
they don't even think they're doing it. They just think that they.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying for the most part, we have a system within our community specifically, because we can't speak to others. Irresponsible choices are rewarded and completely enabled, and we're circling the drain with it, number one. But those of us who are making responsible choices, and obviously I am not within that, I'm not good at making good financial choices, that's why I married you. Those of us who are making responsible choices are being penalized.
Yeah.
We often say, like, why don't we just go, like, take out finance for fancy cars and fancy holidays and then just, like, deal with it or let someone else deal with it? Quite fun, the thought. We have such pathological anxiety, we wouldn't cope.
Yeah, and I've also got some integrity.
Integrity is so rare.
I'll give you an example. So a few months ago, I was called by a wealthy person and they said, there's this guy who is in so much debt, and there's actually another story just popped into my head while I was telling that story. So this guy is in so much debt and he's taken out a loan from this one, and I need you to, this is what the guy said to me, to meet with him and to give him some financial education. And I was like, sure, I'm happy to do it. Just give him my details, let's do it. And I'm still waiting for that call, right? What happened, again, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm kind of surmising, is they just gave him more money to get him out of that
current hurdle.
That's what we do. We just throw money at that problem. But most likely, we're just dealing with a symptom, never really dealing with a cause.
But can I ask you a question? Can I stop you there and ask you a question? As a God-fearing man that I know you to be, can one not make the argument that God has given certain people more resources, and that if you are blessed with more resources, God wants you to do good? I've answered my own question, because are you doing good?
Yeah. That's I was about to say. If a person at the robot who's paraplegic needs some money, then you give him money, right?
Well, you taught me you're either part of the problem or are part of the solution.
Yeah, I don't think there's much grey. As I said, if you're an organization, a charity organization that's raising money for people that are handicapped or are some kind of physical impairment, then I get it, because it is what it is. But it's an aberration. That's not the majority.
Aberration.
That was the word I was looking for.
But
what
if people have been financially handicapped by their parents enabling them, and now for the first time in their lives, parents have passed away, there wasn't the inheritance they thought there was going to be. So now, and they are handicapped.
Yeah, okay, well, you were saying some people have been granted this God-given money, whatever it is, what you were saying. At the end of the day, let's assume I'm that guy. I love money just as much as you love money, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but the rich love money. There's no doubt about it. So yes, they're happy to give, but everyone wants to see a return on their investment. The return might not be money. It might be an ego for your goodwill, for your world to come, whatever it is.
Good name.
Something, whatever it is. And if you know that the money is going and it's just getting chucked down the toilet, flushed down the toilet, you're going to eventually stop and ask some questions.
Digging the hole bigger. You always say to me, like, step number one, don't make the hole bigger.
Yeah. And so the other story that I was going to tell you was this did happen. I got a phone call from somebody saying a prominent person in the community needs help. And what I need you to do is to cut up his credit cards. And I mean, firstly,
he has his own scissors.
He's got, my scissors aren't special scissors, but also he'll just, if I cut up the credit cards, he'll just go and the next day reapply for new ones.
Or just get a digital copy on the app.
Yeah, that's even more.
I'm not saying I've done that.
And the fact that you need me to tell him to stop spending so much on credit, like, what about you?
Right.
You enabling him.
You giving him the credit.
You're giving him the credit, and you are enabling
Bankrolling
him. You
it.
bankroll. Or you telling other people, no, it's fine to give money to Joe Soap. He needs it. But I must come in and cut up his credit cards. It's bizarre.
It's childish.
And it's childish and it's dangerous because people, unfortunately, again, the situations where it's warranted, I'm not talking about. I'm saying there needs to be tough love. There's no other way around it. Because coming back to my question, things are getting more expensive and your money that you're earning is worth less. So what are we going to do? I mean, it's a zero-sum game. It's going to keep throwing money which is worth less every year, which buys you less, just at the same problem. No, you can't. I mean, that is what's happening. But ultimately,
where are we going to be if the cycle isn't course corrected, not reversed, not destroyed, not course corrected?
You know, I don't think it's going to fall apart. You know, there are people that say, oh, these schools that are so small, they're going to eventually close. They never close these schools because there's always a rich guy that comes in and bails them out, or so I don't think it's going to all collapse. But there is no doubt, even on those type of schools that we're talking about, that there's a slow and steady
death by slow puncture.
And, you know, you can kind of say, okay, there's going to be other social ills like suicide, increase in drug abuse, substance abuse, which, again, I don't have the data to back that up. But just anecdotally, meet with people and the situation is bad. Very bad. I mean, just to...
For me, I would want to shine a light on the risk of suicide. I don't think people take that seriously enough. They think like, okay, so you'll move in with your parents, or okay, so it's not linear that it goes from this to, oh, you move in with your parents and it's cushy and then you recover within 6 to 8 months. Person A can develop a drug habit because they're trying to numb the pain and bankrupt themselves slowly like that. Another thing, which someone else was mentioning to me the other day, is the first things to go are those monthly payments that keep you safe. So the life insurance policies, the insurance policies, the medical aid policies. So you think to yourself, oh, I'll catch it up next month. God forbid, a million times now, you find yourself in an emergency situation. Your, God forbid, spouse or child can't have life-saving care because your medical aid's lapsed, and now you found yourself in the emergency room. Gambling, because you think, okay, well, let me go play a round of poker. Okay, well, I managed to win $5,000. If I can just do this a few more times, maybe I can dig myself out of the hole. Meantime, as we know, the house always wins. So it's not linear, and also there's so much shame and so much
stigma
and just pain, terrible pain, and that's how we get these terrible suicides. And then, God forbid, there's a suicide or a death. That's generations it takes to overcome that, because your risk of committing suicide, if you've got a parent who committed suicide, increases by something like 65%, 50 to 65%. So that's now a new risk of untimely premature death that you face over and above cancer, stroke, heart disease, obesity, diabetes. You've now thrown in the mental health threat to your life because your parents committed suicide. And I promise you now, there's not a parent on this earth that commits suicide in their right mind because they want to hurt their family. A person commits suicide at the end of the darkest possible road, which thank God you or I cannot imagine. And in our community, the lowest common denominator has been finances.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's no address that wants to deal with it. And I understand why, because it is so emotive and it's so dangerous. Because if a institution stands up and says we're going to deal with it, then they're in the firing line.
Well, what you're saying is that there's too much responsibility. How am I, as X, Y, or Z institution, going to take on the responsibility of the financial crisis and the mental health crisis and where they converge in suicide, even though in our community the suicide numbers have never been this high ever in the history of this community? Because what if you now say, you put your hand up and you say, I'm going to try to address this, and then you fail? Failure means more death. Like, it's a burning rock. No one's going to pick that up.
Yeah, and also people don't want to necessarily invest in something like this. I'm not sure why. You know, as a rich person, I see it all the time, and they're happy to throw.
As you being a rich person,
no,
or you're saying in the eyes of a wealthy person?
In a wealthy person, I don't know what it is. I think that their ego just gets such a trip from giving money to somebody,
saving their house, saving their child's education,
as opposed to like investing in it. Now, I'm not saying education is the only because it's education and it's also
rehabilitation.
Yeah, and tough love rehabilitation.
Literally financial rehab.
Yeah, it's financial rehab, and your people. That's like that's hectic. It sounds hectic.
Yeah, that's hectic, right?
Where I was let me rather give 1,000 rand to this and give to that guy, and he'll come back in 6 months, but whatever.
I think it's the absolute and utter mind virus of the age. Instant gratification. It is a cancer,
and it's so bizarre because you would think that as a rich business person, you would think long term.
Yes,
they are actually just for this.
Well, maybe they're so busy thinking long term about growing their business that for this, this is such an easy win. I'm not here to save the world. I sell deodorant. So you come to me, you tell me you can't pay school fees. Cool, I'll give you $2,000 to meet your bill this month. Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. Leave me alone.
It's too emotional.
Yeah.
I don't want to emotionally invest in this.
Yeah.
And the institutions that are, I would say, emotionally invested in this, maybe they're also too deep down in that well to see the light of day. They don't know how to dig out of this bollocks.
They have their own, at the end of the day, are in their business, and they want to make sure their business, because they're getting a salary at the end of the day. I mean, there's a few things. Obviously, your specific area, be it in food or welfare, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you're getting as much money as possible. Yes, it's to help people. But they also, there's a lot.
Well, you have your agenda.
Yeah, you have your own agenda, and you want to make sure that
you want to be successful.
You want to be, do the best that you can and make sure that you've got a job. And that's first and foremost. And then it's about helping people.
Well, if your job is helping people, it's very tied together, which is almost a bit of a conflict of interest, because the more people you help, the more successful you are. By that same token, the more people who need help, the more unsuccessful our community is.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. That it's
isn't that a paradox?
Yeah.
So as an NPO or PBO, the more you are doing, it means that's how many people are in crisis. Therefore, if the number of people we help as a PBO is growing, it also means the number of people who need help is growing. The math isn't mathing.
I mean, yeah.
So what's the answer?
I don't have the answer, because at the end of the day, the way it works, I mean, I do have some ideas, but the people that have the power are the rich. And I'm just to be brutally honest, it doesn't matter how much the man on the street, I mean, look, you can even talk about the government in South Africa.
Well, that's right.
The majority of South Africans don't want crime, don't want this, don't want that, but it has no impact. At the end of the day, the people that have impact, that have leverage, are the rich. And
the rich and powerful.
Yeah, and that's, if we just bring it back to localized to our society, they, again, I don't know what it is, but I mean, I think I know it's about their ego and arrogance. I mean, we heard there was a story about it. I mean, there's so many stories. Yeah, it just lends itself more to like, I don't actually want to deal with this. We know that a rich guy in the community was told that there's certain malfeasance at an institution. And he was like, no, I trust the leadership. So it's also like,
that's irresponsible.
It is irresponsible. And because, again, that's probably just so much the thought of having to now, I've got my own business and I've got my own ventures to worry about. I'm not going to worry about, I'm giving my charity, I'm doing what I need to do, just leave me alone.
Like, don't make me become an investigative journalist right now.
Yeah. And also, imagine actually going down that road and seeing, oh my God, I've been giving millions to this organization and it's all actually gone to, where shouldn't be going? Like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to deal with that. It's just like better, what's the word? Out of sight, out of mind. That's kind of the...
This is kind of depressing.
And unfortunately, the people are depressed. I think that's just it's a situation that we see ourselves in. People are depressed. It was interesting when I go to Discam and I just, you hear, you don't see the people, you don't look next to, but you just hear the antidepressants. It's just... Yeah,
it's almost, not almost, it is. If you are not on an antidepressant right now, there's something wrong with you.
If you look at all those things in terms of suicide, divorce, substance abuse, I mean, is it worse than it was 20 years ago?
Well, that's what was going to be my next
question. I don't know. I wasn't where I was 20 years ago. I can only say what I see now, and I can look at myself and I can look at people that are trying to help. I'm saying there's the top 10% and the top lower 10%.
You're talking middle class.
It's the middle class, and those people are, I think those ones, if I'm looking, are the ones with the most amount of suicides, the most amount of divorce, etc., is happening in those areas.
Then the divorce leads to the financial ruin, then the financial ruin leads to the depression, the gambling, the drinking, the suicide.
And that's the area which I think, what do they need? Obviously, they would want a handout. Obviously,
I don't think
no, that's the wrong word. But everyone, if I say to you, do you want me to give you, what help would they need? I mean, I'm seeing it all the time now. People are just in so much debt. They don't know how to get out of it. They just normal debt. They don't know how to deal with their tax issues. The tax is a mess. Something that I'm seeing now is that people have some investments, but they're like, I don't even know what I'm doing. It's not even, those are lucky people, right? You got a bit of money to spend. Where there's a lot of people where they're just getting through every single month. But
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is this not the oldest story in the book? The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Power, money, greed, cutting corners, turning blind eyes, chaos in the middle.
Okay, so
depressing.
It is depressing.
Call yourself a capitalist. This sounds very communistic.
Yeah, so look, our kind of reconcile my solace is I'm helping. I genuinely feel that I'm helping. I'm doing my best that I can to help. And
this is kind of maybe like a microcosm of perhaps what these wealthy businessmen who are able to direct resources perhaps to the solution or to the problem. I'm sitting here going, I'm actually just not going to think about this anymore. So maybe they're like, I can't take it on. I've got to protect my own interests, as you said. Maybe their own interests are also mental health interests. I can't sit and ruminate on this. It will bring me down.
Yeah, so it's actually.
But maybe that's selfish.
It is. I'm doing is quite unique in that my charge out rate should be 3,000 rand an hour, but I'm charging a third of that, even less, and I'll help someone. They'll say to me, well, just help people. Like, you don't need the money. And I'm like, no, you have to pay me something.
Don't you need the money? Because that is news to me.
Yeah, so there's not many people that would do what I do for 800 rand an hour or whatever it is. Either we give money to the welfare organization or what else? What else?
No, I have heard people say, XYZ organization, they've got it under control. It's not a perfect system. No system is, but like at least they're dealing with it. So that's where I give my money and I can just do it with and move swiftly along.
Yep. Okay.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying on the flip side of the coin, at least we have a community where we do all try and support each other.
Yeah, so I mean, I think if you weigh it up, right, there's more pros than cons to the organization. Yes, maybe waste a little bit, and there's been some stories in this, but they do more good than bad.
Any PBO that we are aware of, you say?
Yeah. It's a kind of, I think, how they would justify it, to say, yes, at the end of the day, and this is the thing, you want to have a good, like a strong organization, you have strong leadership to pay them well. I get that. These organizations, right, who they're helping? They're helping their 10%. Remember my 10% at the bottom, 10% at the top, and the 80% in the middle. This is what I've seen. And what about that 80%? They are also
worthy of attention.
Yeah, worthy of attention
and empowerment.
Yeah, so
and education.
And so why is there? Yeah.
Why are they being so neglected and abused?
Yeah, and I feel like that 80%, that they are just getting worse and worse. They're not going up; they're going down.
And what's best for the community, our society, is for more people to move from the middle to the top, because that should be the direction. But the trajectory is going the other way.
Yeah, that's my thing. At the end of the day, you can't help everyone. That's just the way it is, right?
And some people genuinely are not good at taking.
Yeah, they just are. They are. What's the word? They are a case that is irredeemable. So in that bottom 10, I'm not talking about the top rich 10%. I'm talking about the bottom 10%, 15%. A lot of them are beyond any kind of redemption. But then again, that 40, 50, 60% of people are in pain and are struggling, and they need some kind of help. They're just dropping lower and lower and lower, and they need more pain.
You try to be all like rainbows and unicorns, but at the end of the day, it causes the most damage to people when they don't have it. And money can change a person's life more benevolently than any other resource if they do have it. So you can be a naive 6-year-old and put on blinkers, I feel like I was for years, or you can accept the tremendous, tremendous power that money has in this world and try and educate and empower people to be able to free themselves through the resource of money and finances and financial freedom.
Yeah, I was just thinking when you were talking, if you have a organization that is trying to make matches with people or trying to set people up, and then they'll justify it because if they get one couple
Wedding.
together married, it was worth it all. But if you just flip that around and you say, if we could have just prevented one suicide,
My heart just sank, yeah.
you know, prevent one suicide,
For those children, that wife, that husband,
Yeah.
widower, those orphans.
we can see someone get married, that's tangible. Oh, there's a marriage.
We don't see
We don't
the
see
suicide
who, yeah,
prevention.
we don't see,
And it's not sexy.
not at all. And I mean, I can tell you, like, I've seen people that I've helped that, thank God, I'm just thinking of a couple that was on the verge of divorce. Again, I didn't save them. I was part of saving it, you know. But yeah,
And they had kids, I'm sure.
yeah, for sure. The kids are together and they seem quite happy as one couple could be. So again, it's like that one life.
Quantify.
Yeah, it's like, what do we do? Do we have like a survey of people like, did you almost commit suicide? And you say, or did you almost get divorced?
Or would you rather get married or not commit suicide? What would you rather? It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, so I think we just have to flip that on the head. I'm repeating myself here. That, which is the biggest block of the community, which is, I think, in my mind, 60-70% of the community.
So
is how do we deal with them and just help them? Yeah.
On that absolutely depressing note, I would say that we are done for the day. And I am now going to go lie down in a dark room.
Okay, I'm going to go to gym, live my best life. Have a good day.
Will you buy me a treaty?
No.